Welcome back, everybody, to the 13th episode of CC Sports Talk Podcast. I haven't filmed in a while just because I've been super busy, and I feel like once a week to twice a week now is kind of the sweet spot to get more views and stuff like that, so it's super repetitive. But yeah, we got a lot to talk about today. We got to talk about the Super Bowl, obviously. It's tomorrow. Super excited about it. Super nervous. You got to dive into the Tom Brady drama as a Patriots fan. That's very odd. I'll talk about it if you guys don't know what I'm talking about. I want to talk about the NBA trade deadline a little bit. And as our episodes have come out, we've been following the Charles Bediako case on Alabama about his eligibility or not. I have some stuff about that. St. John's beat UConn last night. It was a pretty big upset. St. John's started off terrible. But they're on their way back up, and they're a pretty good team. So I'm not surprised about it. It's not really, I wouldn't say an upset, but yeah, I mean, since they're number 2 team, it's considered an upset. And I got some Max Crosby, AJ Brown takes that I'm gonna talk about towards the end of the podcast. But yeah, we'll start off with the Super Bowl. Super excited about it. Super nervous about it at the same time. Seeing Sam Darnold play so good in the NFC Championship game definitely has me a little nervous. But, at the end of the day, it is Sam Darnold. So I don't know if he's going to play the best game of his career or the worst game of his career. You just never know with him. He can go out there and throw 3 touchdowns or 3 interceptions. You just never know with him. I think he's more of a new guy than the old guy, obviously. I mean, he has the most wins as a quarterback in the league since I believe it was 2023. He's just been winning and playing great, and the guy's has had it. I've listened to him talk a couple times in the media, and it seems like his mentality's great. But at the same time, I think if the Patriots turn him over early, if he gets an early interception or fumble or gets a lot of pressure early, maybe the Patriots can get to his head a little bit and get him a little rattled. Hoping. Both offensive lines on both teams aren't very. They're like okay. I wouldn't say good or bad. They're just like right in the middle of the pack. But we've seen throughout the postseason, especially the Patriots' offensive line has really struggled on the left side with those 2 rookies there, and the left side of the blanking here, Seahawks line is really good with Charles Cross and the rookie Zabel there. He's been great, but their center's okay, and their right guard is atrocious. They've been exposing him a lot. I mean, last week he let up 8 pressures, 8, which is crazy. And the right tackle's okay, he's all right. But yeah, I'm super excited about the game. I mean, I'm not in the same boat as Patriots fans where they're like, no one thought we'd get this far, so might as well just be happy with the win or loss and blah 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 blah. I'm like, no, I don't agree with that at all. You're in the game. Then, so if you lose, you're not supposed to be disappointed. That's ridiculous in my opinion. I understand where they're coming from though, because the last couple of years has been terrible and not fun and awful. But we're the Patriots. We're one of the winningest franchises in the league. When you get to the Super Bowl, you should be expected and hoping to win the Super Bowl. There's no. I know everybody wants to be positive nowadays, and there's no negativity. Every day is a good day and stuff like that, which I try to live by that too, but when it comes to sports, like a spade's a spade. Let's call a spade a spade. It will be disappointing if the Patriots lose the game as a Patriots fan. It will be disappointing for the Seahawks if they lose the game. That's what that's the fan experience. There's no, just happy to be here. Happy to be here. No, you make it to the game. You want to win the game. But sorry, a little tangent there. But yeah, I mean, Seattle has done a great job building their team. I really like the way they built their team. I think both teams are very, very similar. I think Seattle has a little bit of an edge over the Patriots. It's not as big as everybody thinks it is. I just don't understand where people are coming from with that either. All you've been hearing the last 2 weeks, the Patriots have no chance. They have no chance. They have no chance. They can't. Seattle's just too good, stuff like that, blah, 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 blah. But all year long, we've been saying there's no great team in the NFL. There's just a bunch of good teams, which I like. I really do. I like that. I don't like when one team just dominates. I know it's very hypocritical coming from a Patriots fan, but as a fan of the sport, I like it when everybody's good, and every given week you don't know who's going to win the game or not. But I just don't understand where these people are coming from, where they're like, the Seahawks, the Patriots have no chance. The Seahawks are going to kill them. Seahawks just steamroll them. And they're just really overrating the Seahawks, which, don't get me wrong, once I pick the game, and I'll do it right now, I guess, because I feel like I backed myself in the corner now. But I do think the Seahawks are going to win. Okay? I do. But the Patriots could still win the game. I don't think they have zero chance. Drake May, he had 2 weeks off. He can get his shoulder healthy. His shoulder's definitely been a problem in the postseason. I feel like they hit it a little. I think in the Chargers game he was fine. The Houston game, he definitely happened in the Houston game at some point because he was getting killed in the Houston game, absolutely killed in the Houston game. And then the Denver game, obviously you saw him not being able to complete out routes, and yeah, he hit a couple good passes, but he only completed 7 passes, and a lot of his passes were either short, and you can tell when passes are short like that is because they don't have enough strength to get it to the receiver, especially on out routes. But yeah, I think I also saw a crazy stat that Seattle's last 10 first-round picks are starters on their team, which that is unbelievable. The drafting they do on that team is so good, so good. The one thing I'll push back on also in Seattle is that I hear everybody in the media now saying, you don't hear anything about Kenneth Walker all season. Nothing. All of a sudden, everybody wants to talk about him like he's a top 5 running back. He's like one of the best running backs in the league. He's not the primary running back. I mean, if Charbonnet was playing, they would split the carries. I just don't understand that either. I think the media is going way overboard right now. I think they're spending way too much time on overrating the Seahawks, which I don't really understand, like I said before. But yeah, it should be a great game. I'm very nervous, to be honest, as a Patriots fan. I just know how much pressure that the Seahawks can handle, and I think that I can say the same thing about the Patriots though. They'll put a bunch of pressure on Darnold as well. I think these teams are pretty identical. You got 2 quarterbacks who you don't know how they're going to play. You got 2 offensive lines that aren't good. You got 2 defenses that are very, very good, if not some of the best in the left. Obviously it's the Super Bowl, but they're both top 5 defenses, which I didn't see from the Patriots all season long. And then the playoffs and towards the end of the season, they just ramped it up to another level, and they've literally played every single game the same way and just great defense. And yes, the quarterback has helped us obviously, but say the same thing about the Seahawks. The coaching in the Rams I didn't think was good in the NFC Championship game, and then they played a 49ers team that had insurance guys and plumbers out there playing for him. But yeah, back to Kenneth Walker. I just don't see where everybody's coming from with him. I do acknowledge that he's a great running back. He's a really, really good running back. I would take him on my team. He's a great player. But I think Ramondre Stevenson's good too. And I wish I started this podcast at the beginning of the season, because I'm not a Ramondre Stevenson fan at all. I'm not. I think it's a fumble waiting to happen. But he's deserved to be the number 1 running back in the Patriots backfield, and he's probably a top 10 running back. I mean, he's I think he's like the same thing as Kenneth Walker. Really, they're pretty identical. They're both fast. They're both physical. They both can catch the ball. They're both. I'm not sure about Kenneth Walker, but Ramondre Stevenson is a fantastic, if not the best, pass blockers in the league. He's such a good pass blocker. He's so good, and I think Travion Henderson right now is just, the playoffs come around, he can't compete. The thing about Henderson is that he doesn't like bounce around and stuff like that like we thought he was going to. If he sees a hole, he goes through it, but if there's no hole, he'll just run right into the back of the lineman. Like Stevenson, his vision's so good, where Henderson's vision's not very good. Stevenson can see, there's the space in the outside, or maybe be patient there for a second. And Stevenson's just so much better than Stevenson. But Stevenson's better than Henderson at that. But yeah, I mean, I think that the Patriots struggle in getting open. The receivers struggle getting open, but this is where Drake May needs to have a game and throw guys open. Stephon Diggs isn't the same against man anymore. Zone, he's the best, one of the best receivers in the league. And against man coverage, he'll have his catches, but they won't be long yard catches or anything like that. Um, this week, I think this is a big spot for the tight ends. I heard that Seattle's not very good at covering the tight ends, but I mean that could be good for them because Hunter Henry has just been having a horrendous postseason. Like he is so bad in this postseason. I don't know why he's playing so bad, but I do know why because there's some of these defenses that they've played in the postseason are just so physical, and Hunter Henry is not a physical player. He's very soft. He's not very tough at all. But this is a spot maybe Austin Hooper can play. I really like Austin Hooper as a number 2 tight end. He's made really good catches for us this year, big spots. So maybe he can get thrown out there a little bit. I do like Matt Collins. He's like a kind of a tight end that's playing receiver. He's just so big and physical as well. I really like him. I think he'll get a lot of targets. I think when he plays, Drake May just feels more comfortable for some reason. Even though we're talking about Matt Collins, we're not talking about like Tyreek Hill or anything like that. But Hollins has been a great player for us this year, and he's been super reliable. I think this is a game if the Seahawks do play a lot of man coverage like they're going to. I think this will be a big game for maybe Kyle Williams or Pop Douglas because they're very good at getting open in man. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I do like seeing seeing that the coaching experience on the Patriots. Sorry, the cat in the background is distracting me by scratching the thing. I do like the coaching experience on the Patriots side, though. I think Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels will bring a lot of playoff experience, and especially Josh McDaniels going to 10 Super Bowls in his lifetime. And you already saw the report that yesterday, I think it was yesterday, maybe on Thursday, that Vrabel pretty much simulated the whole game. They played a game, and then they brought everybody back into the locker room for, like, I think it was 20 minutes or something, 30 minutes. And they just blasted Bad Bunny in the locker room. Then they went back on the field and practiced again and stuff like that. So it was like he like simulated the game, which I really like. But yeah, I mean, I think this is like I said at the beginning. I think the Patriots can win this game, but I just don't see it. And I wouldn't be surprised if they do. Obviously, I'll be rooting for them. But yeah. This has got to be Drake May's day, I think. Drake May's been struggling through the postseason. He hasn't played good. He's been not healthy. And I think this game for him is, his opportunity to say, hey, like, I'm a playoff player. I can do this. I don't need the defense to carry me. Because I saw a lot of people in the media comparing him to, like, Trent Dilford and Rex Grossman and Brad Johnson. All these guys that got carried by great defenses. And, yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. Drake May hasn't played good. He needs to play better. But he hasn't been awful. He's been better than those quarterbacks. Yes, the Denver game was bad, but he was hurt, and look at the weather. Like I know no one likes excuses, but it's valid. And I'm not the biggest Drake May guy. I mean, I like him a lot. I want him to cut down on his turnovers. And he's a great passer, and I like him. I'm just, the playoffs are making me a little nervous, to be honest. But the offensive line is not played good in the postseason, so a lot of it's to blame on Will Campbell, I think. And Will Campbell's been horrible, but yeah, all 3 levels of the Seahawks defense is good. The defensive line with the 2 D tackles, their edge rushers are okay. They're kind of similar to the Patriots defense line, where they got the 2 guys up front, and then the edge rushers are okay. Chase Young's pretty good though, the Patriots, But yeah, I think that the linebackers is really good too with Jones, and their secondary is just so good, so physical. And you saw Nick Emamori got hurt. That's a big injury for them. Emamori is a great player. He's like a 6'3", like linebacker safety type player. I mean, he's just so good. But yeah, I do have Seattle winning this game, but I think it'll be close. I do think a lot of people out there disrespecting the Patriots, like, their schedule, they're lucky, and all this stuff. I mean, they got here to the Super Bowl. A lot of teams that have easy schedules that we know are frauds lose in the first round, or get blown out in the second round. We all know that. So I think they're going too far with all that stuff. But yeah, I'm excited to see Drake May play in the Super Bowl. I'm excited to see Vrabel coach the Super Bowl. I love Vrabel. I've been super proud of him. Super excited for as he's our coach. But yeah, I think that's our Super Bowl preview, and we'll go to the other stuff I wanted to talk about, like the Tom Brady drama. All right, this has really kind of, ticked me off a little bit, to be honest with you. Tom Brady on an interview with Jim Gray. Jim Gray asked him like, who do you want to win, and like who do you got in this game and stuff like that. And Brady, quote unquote, said, "I have no dog in this fight." I understand where he's coming from. I do. You know, he's supposed to be broadcaster. He's supposed to be neutral. He's an owner. The Seahawks coach, Clint Kubiak, will be their next head coach on the Raiders. He's the owner there. So I understand where he's coming from, but at the same time, it feels like a shot at the Patriots. Honestly, it really does. I'm probably reading to it too much, and probably being emotional like all the other guys who don't agree with it. But you've heard his former teammates come out, like Vince Wilfork, Matt Castle, Brian Hoyer, Rob Nikovich, come out and say, "Hey, like that's not really cool," and I don't think it's cool either. Like, throw the fans a bone. The fans, me included, the fans would love to hear you say, "Yeah, let's go New England. I'm super excited about it." I've spent like 20 years of my life playing there. Go Pats. It doesn't need to be anything crazy. Doesn't need to be anything crazy. And then I think it's just a little cowardly too. I think this relates to it, but it doesn't sound like it doesn't. But this relates to it because what I'm about to say is, you saw Tom Brady be like, super healthy with his TB12 brand and, selling his $50 nuts and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden you see him in a Pizza Hut commercial. I just think that's very hypocritical. And then you see, everything needs to be money. Everything needs to be about Tom. I think that he's left football. Tom Brady isn't Tom Brady anymore. That's not really the Tom Brady that I grew up with, that I know. Like, he's just kind of a selfish, like alien robot type thing, plastic. He's just kind of hollow and cowardly. And whenever you hear him talk too, like, he says nothing. He's not a good commentator. He doesn't say anything when he commentates. He just kind of word salads when he commentates. Same as the only thing I think he's good at is when he goes on podcasts and talks about the deep stuff and his mentality and stuff like that when he was playing. And sometimes he's going to call him coward. But I don't know. Sometimes he says a whole lot of nothing. But yeah, I just don't love the way he's approaching this too. And then now online yesterday, you saw him posting online, go get your 7th one, Robert Kraft, so we can twin, and saying all this stuff about the Patriots now. So he's backpedaling, and his PR team is probably like, Tom, what are you doing, and all this stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think that it's not really the best look for him. I don't think it's the best look for the Patriots either. I mean, and also at the same time, I don't think that he wants the Patriots to win because he wants to be the one guy that took the Patriots over the hump, be the winningest quarterback. Drake May win in his second year is very similar to how Brady won, and he's kind of on the same path as Brady right now. I mean, if he wins the Super Bowl, it's definitely a threat to not be as good as Brady or do anything Brady didn't do or anything like that. But his career at the same time right now is on the same trajectory. If he does win the Super Bowl, and Tom Brady probably sees that as a threat and doesn't want the Patriots to win because we all know he's got a big ego. I love Tom; he's my favorite player of all time, but he's got a lot of flaws. It's the personality side. But I didn't love hearing that, and his former teammates come out too and say he doesn't disagree with it, which I know this is gonna sound like a little too deep, but I as a Patriots fan, I do appreciate that, all these other players having our back. But I do understand the way that it ended for Tom here. I mean, Tom in New England. Kraft said, it's up to you, Bill, if you want to bring back Brady or not. You have good judgment, which I think Kraft definitely 100% regrets to this day from doing that. They should have just gave Brady the Drew Brees deal that he wanted to. It wasn't that much. It wasn't that crazy, and they should have. It was an embarrassment and joke. He should have had another jersey on, but it is what it is. and he never talks bad about Bill. And Bill's the one who ran him out of town. Bill was the one that Bill was the one that ran him out of town, said that he doesn't need Tom, and then Tom won a Super Bowl, and then that was the narrative changer right there, where everybody was like, "Oh my God, maybe it is Tom that carried the franchise into the franchise," which I do agree with. I think it was 75% Tom, 25% Bill, but yeah, Tom's just a weirdo now. Don't align with him anymore. I don't, just an alien now. He's just so different. But that's what happens when you get money. The more I heard someone say, I think it was Rob Ninkovich said this. His grandfather told Rob, the more money you get, the higher you go, the more an alien you turn into. And I totally agree with that. He's an alien now, and he's trying to sell everything too, and everything's about money. Everything's about him, with the dog cloning and all this stuff. Like, I don't know, Tom, just stop. He's rubbed me like such a terrible way, and he'll always forever be my favorite player ever. And I don't recognize him anymore. But I'm not his father. He can do whatever he wants. I mean, I'm not his son. He can do whatever he wants. It's just disappointing. But yeah, another thing I want to talk about was the NBA trade deadline, and I think the NBA trade deadline this year and the last couple of years, you've really been noticing how the league is not as good as it used to be anymore. All these owners that are good teams are selling off pieces, and you can't really trade anything anymore because you need all your values to match up and the contracts to match up. Like when they traded Jaren Jackson to Utah, I mean, it was like nothing. They got like nothing. It was like nothing. And then you saw the Celtics sell off Anthony Simons for a 35-year-old aging Vucevic so they can get under the luxury tax. They traded all these players to get under the luxury tax because the owners, want to save their money and rather save their money than buy into the team, which I think is an embarrassment. Embarrassment for the league. You got content with the Celtics number 2, number 3 in the East, and they're sellers. That's disgusting. And then you see Jason Tatum, a couple weeks ago saying, I don't know if I'm coming back now, and that was obviously because he heard that the Celtics are going to be sellers. And I think if I was Jaylen Brown, Jaylen Brown has been on his game all year, criticizing the media and stuff like that. And then you heard just Tatum comments the next game. He had like a terrible game, and then after the games when they lose, he's usually like very fiery. You can tell he's mad and wants to win. And then after the Atlanta game, he was like kind of checked out, and you can tell like he knew the team wasn't gonna buy into him. And I think if I was Jaylen Brown, I would feel disrespected. He's proved to everyone, including himself, that he is a number 1 in this league, and he had him a good spot. They could have won a championship this year, and they still can. But selling like that, you don't. It's just not a good look, and it's not good for the league. And it's not just the Celtics too, and other teams have done it. But this league now, where all these teams like Adam Silver was so against having good teams again that a one good team again, that's a loaded team, super team, that he made it all these tax rules and stuff like that, and no one's gonna have good teams anymore. OKC's only has a small amount of years left because all their guys are young on rookie deals still, so they'll have to pay some people, and they're not gonna be able to afford it. They're not gonna have good teams around them. But I just don't think that the game's in a good direction at all. I think the play is really decreased. The analytics have really hurt the sport. But yeah, I mean, I just think of course, when the playoffs come around, I'll start watching again and be engaged. But right now, I just don't think it's in a great spot at all, especially with this team selling that it shouldn't be selling. It's a really bad look for the league. And yeah, I mean, we've been talking about Charles Bediako. Just transition here. We've been talking about Charles Bediako for a while now. He was an NBA player that got ruled. They got eligibility to play for Alabama this year. Since he's come back, he's been really, really good for them. Really good addition. And then you saw a report that the judge who said he could play was an Alabama donor, which I think is definitely collusion or corruption or something. I don't know. It's definitely shouldn't be allowed and definitely illegal. But then he went back to court, and then yesterday, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, he went back to court, and they still haven't made a decision if they're going to let him play or not. but I think today he's going to suit up because he still has his eligibility. You saw Nate Oates say that he will still have a scholarship, which I don't know how that's going to work. If he has a scholarship, is he still going to be allowed to play or not? I'm not sure. But yeah, I think this whole thing is just so stupid. Like, don't let the guy play. He's an NBA player. How can you let the guy play? You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when you have you seen the movie Dodgeball? Not Dodgeball. What is it called? Not Dodgeball, but what is it? When the baseball players go to the watch the little league team play, and they have like an older player there, but he's from Mexico, so he has a fake birth certificate that says, "Hey, I'm 12." It reminds me of that a little bit. But yeah, I mean, he shouldn't be allowed to play, and I think it's an embarrassment. But yeah, last night St. John's beat UConn. I think that's really good for the Big East because they thought UConn was going to run the whole thing. And St. John's has come back. You know, it's good for the Big East to have good teams because they've really been down this year. But yeah, that was an exciting game. It was a fun game. St. John's is just they're going to another level recently, and all their money and stuff like that is paying off. But I'm happy to see the Big East play good. But yeah, and then the last part I want to talk about was Max Crosby supposedly said to Diana Rossetti that he wants to play for the American Variable and the Patriots, and if I'm the Patriots, I'll be all over that. But unfortunately, the Patriots never do that because Robert Kraft is cheap. They don't want to trade their draft picks. If I'm Crosby, I wouldn't be surprised if he went to like Philadelphia or the Bills, some team like that. That's willing to spend the money. I just don't think the Patriots are be willing to spend the money. But if the Patriots got Max Crosby, our defense will go to a whole nother level, and I'd love to see that. But off the Raiders, I either trade him for all his picks or keep him and build around him. There's no in the middle, like sit him and stuff, all that bull crap. I don't like that. He's such a good player though. Wherever he goes, he'll be a great addition, a great player. And then you saw the report of A.J. Brown trade. Talks have been heating up and ramping up. This is not surprising. They should have traded him before the deadline. He was definitely a problem and a poison in that locker room there. But yeah, I think he'll also go to a team like the Bills or maybe the Patriots because of the variable factor. But I just don't think the Patriots would want to trade the picks unless it's like a second-round pick, which I don't think that would happen. But another team I can probably see him going to is maybe interesting. The Bills, or I heard another team recently, and I can't remember what it was, and I was like, ooh, that makes sense. Where was it? I think it was Green Bay. I don't know where he'd fit in Green Bay because they just have so many good receivers right now. I don't know what they would give up for him. Another team I saw for A.J. Brown was, what is it? It's on the tip of my tongue. Like I saw it and I forgot to write it down, but I'll figure it out. It wasn't the Bills, but I think he'd be a great fit in the Bills. Josh Allen needs that type of receiver. If he could keep his ego in check, he'll be a good player. He just got to keep his ego in check and stay engaged with the game. That was his problem, I think, in the playoffs and last year. But yeah, I mean, really excited this weekend. I'm super excited. Another thing about Max Crosby too. Their defense wasn't that bad. I mean, the Raiders just didn't have a good offense, and maybe with Clint Kubiak coming and Mendoza coming, that'll really give them the reinforcements they need to, maybe they can be a playoff contending team. That division's just way too hard and way too difficult. And Clint Kubiak that'll be good for him if they can keep Max Crosby because edge rushers are hard to find. They're really hard to find. They're one of those cornerstone positions that you need. They're like edge rusher, cornerback, left tackle, quarterback, receiver. You need all 5 of those guys. And you got one of Max Crosby, so I'll try to keep him the best I could. But yeah, I mean, really excited for the Super Bowl tomorrow. Be really rooting hard for the Patriots. I'm very superstitious. I got invited to the in-laws' house, but I was like, sorry guys, I'm gonna wear the same outfit I always wear to the Patriots game. I'm gonna sit in the same spot I always sit in the Patriots game, and I can't do it. If I went over there and they lost, I'll just blame the superstitious part. And I love hanging out with them. I love being with them and stuff like that. But I'm sure you sports fans out there will understand. But yeah, That'll be it for today's episode. I'll talk to you later in the next episode after the Super Bowl. Hopefully, it's the Patriots lifting up the Lombardi Trophy and not the Seahawks. But if the Seahawks do it, I wouldn't be surprised. And that'll be one of the best stories we ever seen. Sam Darnold coming back and after being down the way he was and coming back to play in the Super Bowl. That'll be crazy story. But yeah, thanks for checking out the episode. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. And yeah, we'll see you after the Super Bowl. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.